Okay, guys, today we're going to learn what it means to make predictions. Okay? So I want you to tell me what the word prediction means to you, Chris.
To make an educated guess about like text or something what's going to happen next.
Mm-hmm. Luke, can you tell me what it means to use the word prediction? Okay, like his definition. Can you tell me what prediction means? Okay. It does mean what Chris said, that you're making an educated guess based on clues out of the text about what's coming, okay? Because, sometimes when you're reading a book, if you get to the end of the chapter, it's left you hanging, so you want to read more, right? And see what's coming. But sometimes we can guess what's coming. Okay. Here's a few short stories I want to read you, and you can tell me what's coming next, okay? The students wanted more vegetables in their school lunches. They decided to plant a garden behind the school. They asked their teachers to help them dig up the ground. Many students brought seeds and planted them. Soon everyone helped give the seeds water and pull weeds. It was like a garden club. Soon small green plants began to grow. So what do you think is going to happen with this vegetable garden? What are they going to do with the vegetables, Chris?
They're going to give them to the school, and that's what they're going to be in lunch.
Yeah, y'all agree? They're going to use them for lunch? All right, yep, that's the right answer. All right, the next one is Ethan sat down at the kitchen table. He saw that there was a new white rug on the floor under the table. He poured a glass of juice for himself. It was purple grape juice, his favorite. As he reached across the table to take a piece of bread, his arm knocked over the glass. So, Jaden, what do you think happens next in this one? Picks up the glass. What do you think happens when he knocks it over, Kaylee?
Yeah, landed on the rug, the white rug.
Gonna put a stain on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay. Now, we're gonna watch a short video.
Some questions ask you to predict or guess what may happen next. As you read a text, it may seem as if a lot of different things may happen. But what you need to figure out is what will probably or most likely happen based on what you have already read in the text. It might seem unfair to be asked to predict what may or may not happen next. But if you read the excerpt closely, you can use your reasoning skills to take the information you read and add it to what you already know to make a fairly good guess. For example, let's say you read about a person who does a science experiment. You're told that the experiment is supposed to have 4 different steps in it, but the person forgets one of the steps and does only 3. Then you're asked to make a prediction about how this experiment might turn out. Chances are it won't turn out well. Using the information you're given, you can make a fairly good guess that whatever results the person gets will be incorrect, as the steps weren't done correctly.
Okay. So, all right. Where do I find the other videos? All right, we're going to read this, and then we're going to talk about how to fill out this graphic organizer, okay?
Let's take a look at this excerpt about blue holes. A blue hole is a cave in the sea. It is one of the deepest places on the earth. It may look like a good place to swim, but it's not. In fact, a swim in a blue hole could kill you. Why? Well, it has to do with 2 things: whirlpools and salt. A whirlpool is a part of the water that spins in a circle. It is made by the tide. The and it washes out. The water in the blue hole starts to spin very fast. That may sound like fun, but it can be deadly. Also, the sea is salt water. Most salt water is safe, but the salt water far down in a blue hole is different. It has very little oxygen. It is often full of deadly gas. The gas is made by tiny sea creatures. They are too small to be seen by the human eye. They eat the salt in the water. They give off a deadly gas. Then the gas gets trapped in the water. Let's say you're asked this question. Suppose a fish swims to the bottom of a blue hole. Based on what you read, what would most likely happen? A. The fish would spin around in the blue hole and then be sent back into the sea. B. The whirlpool would stop spinning for as long as the fish is in the blue hole. C. The sea creatures that eat the salt in the water would eat the fish instead. D. The fish would get trapped by the whirlpool and gases and would die. Okay, so we know we need to take the information we're given in the text and use it to figure out what is most likely to happen. The excerpt states that a swim in a blue hole can kill you. A blue hole has whirlpools that spin very fast and is filled with a deadly gas. Based on this information, we can make a reasonable guess that any living thing, such as a person or a fish, that goes into a blue hole is most likely not going to have a very good ending. Which answer choice comes closest to our own nose?
You guys think?
Let's check.
D.
D.
A. The fish would spin around in the blue hole and then be sent back into the sea. How likely is this to happen? Well, the text states that whirlpools spin very fast and can be deadly. But there's nothing that gives the idea a whirlpool would spin something and then send it back out again. This answer most likely would not happen. B. The whirlpool would stop spinning for as long as the fish is in the blue hole. How likely is this to happen? The text states whirlpools are caused by the tide, not by fish. So it's highly unlikely that a whirlpool would suddenly stop spinning just because a fish swam in. C. The sea creatures that eat the salt in the water would eat the fish instead. How likely is this to happen? Well, the text says these creatures are so tiny that humans can't see them. They may be the size of a single cell. They probably don't have teeth, and there's nothing that gives the idea that these creatures eat meat. So what are the chances they'll start eating a fish thousands of times bigger than they are? Not too high. D. The fish would get trapped by the whirlpool and gases and would die. How likely is this to happen? Well, we know that whirlpools spin very fast and the gases in blue holes are deadly. The danger of blue holes is an idea that gets repeated in this text, and it's the answer choice that best matches our own guess. So it's very likely that a fish that gets caught in a blue hole would not get out. Here's the question again. Suppose a fish swims to the bottom of a blue hole. Based on what you read, what would most likely happen? In this case, the correct answer is D. The fish would get trapped by the whirlpool and gases and would die. Sorry, fish.
Okay, so let's talk about this graphic organizer. We read about blue holes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And it gave us the question, what will happen if a fish swims to the bottom of a blue hole, right? It needed to know what we do. So we're going to write that, we're going to think, what do you think would happen?
After reading the text, I would say the fish would probably die. After them swims down there and pulls like the gases and stuff.
Okay, I want you to write that right here. Keep writing. It's okay. Okay. Now over here you see the arrow. We follow the arrow over, and it wants you to say why you think it will happen. So what did the text say about it happening? Did it say because the whirlpools spin too fast and there's gases, and so they're often deadly? Okay, I want you to write something like that over here in this box. Okay, so now we're going to listen to another story.
Time for you to try it on your own. Read the excerpt, then answer the questions that follow. Remember to always go back to the text to see how ideas, characters, and events work together. The following excerpt is from a selection about maps. You can find a city on a map. You can find roads, too. Hills and lakes can be seen on maps. Some things shown on maps have been around for a long time. For example, most rivers are old. Other places are new. Suppose a new road is built in an area. This new road would not be shown on an old map. So a new map of the area must be made. The new map shows how the area has changed. A long time ago, no one knew the earth was round. No one knew how big the earth was. Maps were drawn by hand. They were made by different people. Suppose two people each made a map of the same area. Each map would look a little different. Then printing was invented about 600 years ago. Many maps of the same area could be printed at once. All of these maps were alike. Other changes to maps were happening too. Explorers were finding new places in the world. They needed maps to find their way back home. Their ships sailed to more and more places. They found new areas of land. New maps needed to be drawn to show these new areas. The first maps of the whole world were first made about 500 years ago.
All right, the question says, based on what the excerpt says about explorers and maps, what is most likely to happen to maps in the future? A, maps will change as people learn new things about the world. B, maps will become too large and confusing to be truly helpful. C, maps will have blank areas on them for people to fill in themselves. Or D, maps will be needed for every trip as the number of roads increases. What do you guys think? Maps will change as people learn new things about the world. Can you tell me why you think that? Oh, that's okay. Can you tell me, Kaylee?
Like
It'll like help them with new places and stuff.
there's new places coming in the future, and we'll learn new things.
Yeah, I agree. And it also already said that every time something new is added, we have to make a new map, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're going to be lost out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open it. Okay, I'm going to read you the paragraphs and you're going to pick the answer. When we get all the way through, then we'll go back and discuss why we picked our answers, okay? Ben loved looking at drawings. He wanted to try drawing something, but he was not sure what. One day his baby sister was taking a nap. He looked at her round face and small hands. He had an idea. He knew where he could find some paper. He also knew there were pencils in a drawer in the kitchen. What most likely happened next? A. Ben woke up his baby sister. B. Ben took a nap next to his baby sister. C. Ben drew a picture of his baby sister. Or D. Ben became bored watching his baby sister. Pick your answer. Okay. The next one, number 2. Peter ran down the steps. It was his birthday. His mother and father were having breakfast. "Happy birthday, Peter," they called. Then his dad said, "Your birthday surprise is out in the yard. You can take it for a walk." What was Peter's surprise? A. A bicycle. B. A puppy. C. A baseball. Or D. A snake. You can pick your answers. Okay. Number 3. The gray wolf stopped running at the top of the tall hill. He had come a long way from his home deep in the woods. The sun above him was hot. It was hot enough to bake the ground as hard as stone. The wolf was very thirsty. Off in the distance he could see a rushing river. What most likely happened next? A. The wolf rested in the sun. B. The wolf cooled off in the woods. C. The wolf ran back to his home. Or D. The wolf drank water from the river. And finally, number 4. Kelvin started a DJ business. He played music at parties in his community, but every time he earned some money, he had to use it to buy batteries. He was not able to give the money to his family. Then Kelvin had an idea. He would build his own batteries. Then he would not have to use his money to buy them. What most likely happened next? A. Kelvin gave the money he made to his family. B. Kelvin stopped playing music at parties. C. Kelvin had to look for a new job. Or D. Kelvin bought CDs for his business. Okay. Let's go back to number 1. What answer did you guys pick?
I think A.
A?
Yeah.
Okay, think about it. Ben loved looking at drawings. He wanted to try drawing something.
Oh. Oh.
And I believe it said he went to the drawer and got some paper and pencils and some other tools to draw. So, did he wake up his baby sister?
No.
Did he take a nap next to her?
No.
Did he draw a picture of her?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Did he become bored with watching his baby sister?
No.
Correct. It is C. Okay, number 2. What was Peter's surprise? What did you guys pick?
A puppy or B.
Yeah,
Because you can't walk a bicycle, can you?
Nope.
that was so funny.
Can't walk a baseball.
Oh,
Nope.
And I don't know that anybody's going to walk a snake that don't have legs.
No.
you just lived.
Yep. Alrighty. Number 3, the one about the wolf. What did he do? Did he rest in the sun? Did he cool off in the woods? Or what answer did you guys pick?
D.
It is D,
Yeah, I meant D.
because he drank water from the river. It says the wolf was very thirsty, and that sentence right there gives it away, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because the river has water in it, and you're going to drink it when you get there.
Yep.
Okay, the one about Kelvin and his DJ business. What answer did you guys pick?
A.
Yes, it is A. Because he said he wanted to be able to give money to his family, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not B because it says, well, I'm just going to make my own battery so I can keep doing this, right?
Yeah.
So he didn't stop playing music at parties. Colin had to look for a new job and didn't say anything about him looking for a new job, did it? And Kelvin bought CDs for his business. Well, either way, you've got to have batteries or power of some sort to operate the CD player, correct?
Yep.
So it is A. Okay. Now that we've gone over what predictions are, Kaylee, can you tell me what a prediction is?
What you think's gonna happen in the next part, or what's coming forward.
Yes, okay. Jaden, can you tell me what prediction means?
It's coming into the past.
You're using the past to predict the future, right? This happened, so this is coming. Correct? Okay, guys, thank you. End of lesson.